whatever anybody believes out there, I see something as an elder in this community that is not right. It's off. It's hurting not only the community, but it's hurting a bunch of people who should never be in this space. And it's inappropriate for our community to keep pushing this narrative as if anyone can be trans, because that's not true. Hi, I'm Buck Angel. I am a transsexual man, which means I was born female. I'm a biological female. It's a difficult space because today we have all this weird narrative going on. But, I just felt like a boy. I just always did, since I was a little kid. And, I was a tomboy on some level. But that being said, I grew up as a female. And then eventually I realized I could have what we used to call a sex change. And I did a situation where I took hormones, and I was one of the very first people to do that here in Los Angeles. I did this 30 years ago. I come from a very medicalized space. I come from a space called gender dysphoria, which is a diagnosis, a mental disorder that I've had my whole life, where I feel like the opposite gender. Now we have trans with no gender dysphoria, no need for it to be a disorder, no need for mental health care, self-ID, affirmation therapy. Come on, that says to me on some level, some form of indoctrination. It's like anyone can be trans, join the party. And I'm like, wait, I would have chosen to been born a male over anything you see right here. But I didn't get born. I wasn't born male. So now I had to fix it by doing all of this. That's what I want these kids to see. I also want the world to see. This isn't a game. And it's not something I can pick or choose. I want to be trans, and today I am. And tomorrow I'm not. Once you choose this life and do this, what I did, there really is no turning back. That's why it's important we understand. I do think somehow some people are being told they're trans when they're not. I see a vast, huge desire to fast track, for a lack of a better term, these children into this space of trans kids and put them on something that they're calling puberty blockers. This could be a very dangerous space, and it is a dangerous space we are pushing, because we're giving drugs to children to stop puberty. So I personally believe blocking puberty could be disastrous. Now, that being said, I do believe there might be some children, because I've witnessed it, that could possibly benefit from this, but it's very few and far. It is not the amount of kids that are immediately being put on blockers with no mental health care, no desire to sort of watch this kid kind of find their space. But it's like the kid says they're trans, they're trans. There's no pushing back. This is this new affirmative therapy. There's no pushing back. My parents did what we call today social transitioning, where they dressed me, I got to dress like a boy. It made me happy. I was always the little buck. But my parents didn't put me on puberty blockers. And my dad actually said I would have never done that. He said, we thought you would grow out of it, but you didn't. And look at you today. So of course I went through some turmoil as a youngster. Of course, all youngsters go through turmoil. And I'll be honest, I don't necessarily think some form of turmoil or some form of, struggling, whatever you want to call it, is a bad thing. I don't think so, depending on how high that struggle is. The dishonesty is growing every day. And when you start seeing the kids sort of repeat the mantra of all of this stuff, right? Trans women are women, trans men are men, uterus havers, period people, all of these things that are so, first off, disrespectful to the woman's space, and secondly, disrespectful to us. I am not a biological man. I never will be. I'm very honest about that. And it's why the world is accepting of me, because I don't need to lie to you. And so why are we teaching kids to lie? There's this idea that we have to lie to the world in order for us to get our stuff. No, you don't. I don't have to lie to the world. Look at me. I never had to lie to the world. And I did it before any of this stuff happened. It just says to me something's wrong, because you're not appreciating what you have. And instead you're being very entitled and saying, I deserve this, give this to me, get out of my way. That is not trans at all. That is something else. And it's actually scary for me to see the attitudes coming out of this community.